I grew up in a pretty small town, like basically on the edge of Birmingham in England, and it's a pretty, I don't know, different world to being in California. Really, like Birmingham is like, I mean, it's the second biggest city to London in England, but especially when I grew up, which was like through the 80s and 90s, you know, it was a different place really. You know, very blue collar, pretty working class. It's an industrial city. You know, there was a lot of motor trade there, a lot of car, a lot of factories and stuff. You know, I played in a band called Beat Union. That's what brought me to America. Sometime in 2010, I'd basically just been spending my evenings and weekends, every little bit of my spare time, just writing songs, and you know, was in between bands, didn't really know what I was going to do next, but you know, any sort of musician or artist or whatever has to have some kind of creative output, I suppose, you know. So I always just carry on writing regardless. And I recorded a number of like really rough, like lo-fi demos, just really raw and basic, and had been listening to a lot of like Motown and soul and trying to inject some of that into the sound. Social Distortion were actually rehearsing, and I was demoing some of their songs for one of their records. And one day, Mike Ness was hanging out a little bit after hours, and he asked to hear some of my stuff, and so I was like, okay, cool. I played him a couple of songs, and he was just like, yeah, man, that's really cool. Like I like it. He was just like, let me, you know, keep sending me new stuff, or like maybe you should come out and play with Social D sometime, you know. Their manager called me and just said, hey, is your band up and running? Mike wants you to play. There's a couple of local shows in Anaheim, and Mike wants you to come and see if the band's ready to open up. And it was like, you know, so at this point the band, you know, Mike wanted us to open for Social D. I didn't even have a band, and just had a number of demos. We had a loose band. I think me, Corey and Chris were sort of jamming, and I just called a few people. I knew Greg played keys, so I called him up and was like, hey, we've been offered a gig. I haven't even got a band name yet. We got 2 weeks, can you come and learn some songs? And Greg's just like, yeah man, like, I'm down. And we just sort of rally it together and go out and play the show, and it was awesome. People responded to it, and people were hitting up Social D's manager, Shane, apparently as we were playing and straight after we were playing, saying, who is this band, like they're rad, like where did you find them? And I don't know, Shane told me after, and I'm just like, that's awesome, man. You know, we've been together 2 weeks and we put a name on the band a week ago, you know. I suppose we better carry on now. What else happened in 2011 for Suedehead? That was a busy year, man. That was probably the busiest year of my life. In 2011 we put out, we started our own label, and we put out 3 4-song 7-inch EPs. I recorded everything, Chris did all the artwork. We basically looked at our bank accounts and just said, what can we do, you know, with our spare money, and just put everything we could into it. 2011 we started, like that was basically, we started playing shows. First few were with the ones with Social Distortion, and then we started doing a few local ones. We had a short West Coast tour with rival schools. We played a few shows with Sharks. We played a couple of shows with Stiff Little Fingers. That was awesome. So we're all into Stiff Little Fingers. So that was a real good one. And then we also did an East Coast run with Social Distortion as well. What's next for us? I suppose we're repressing our 3 EPs because we sold out of them all. We have a West Coast run with Flogging Molly, which is going to be fucking awesome, and then Coachella. Don't get much better than that.